Hi, welcome. Now I'm going to show you how to use array CountIFS and array SumIFS functions and what is the difference between them. Okay, so why it is IFS functions? Because CountIFS function as well as SumIFS function having multiple criteria to be checked. Okay, that's why it is IFS functions. It has multiple if inside. Okay, each if is satisfied, then only CountIFS function going to count the record or the transaction. Similarly, the SumIFS function, if all the multiple ifs are satisfied, then only it is going to sum it up the value. Okay, now what I have here is the product, okay, and the respective category. Okay, for each product, Alice Mutton, I have different categories, old and new, and the respective sales. Similarly, I have 277 records. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to achieve my objective. Here I have each product and category combination. What is the total number of transactions in this list, and what is the sum of the total sales. Okay, that's my objective. Because I have each product, I have 25 products overall, and each product has category new and old, so totally I have 50 such combinations. Okay, so for each condition here, product and category, given product and given category, I want the total number of count and I want the total sales. Okay, for the count I am going to use the CountIFS function, and for the total sales I need the SumIFS functions. I want the count to be in a array format here, and also SumIFS also in the array format. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the CountIFS function. Before I move to the array CountIFS, I will do it for a simple CountIFS, then I will generalize that one for the array CountIFS function. Okay, before that I also want to tell you that for every product column is going to be referred here in the CountIFS function. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to give a name for the product column data. How can I do that? I can just select, okay, all the data in the product column, then right click, then go define name. Okay, I'm going to give this one as a product list, the name as product list. Okay, product, probably I give a capital product list. Okay, this is the name for the product column data. Similarly, for the category column data, I select all the category data, then right click, define name, category list. Okay, now similarly for the sales data. Okay, why I'm doing this? Because every time in the formula I'm going to refer these columns. I don't want to just drag the whole values again and again, and for each column instead I can use the name of, I define the name and use the name. It is more helpful on the it becomes it helps the formula to be read easily. The formula becomes more readable. Okay, sales list. Okay, now the full set of data I am going to check for the Alice Mutton and the category. For the Alice Mutton, the product, given category is new, what is the total CountIFS. Okay, how to do that? For the simple CountIFS okay, CountIFS have the set of criteria, multiple criteria to be checked. For each criteria it is going to have two arguments, criteria range 1 and criteria, then criteria range 2 and the criteria 2. Okay, what is this criteria range, which is the left hand side of the criteria? What is the criteria 2 is the right hand side of the criteria. In other words, criteria 1 is nothing but, in the criteria 1 itself, criteria range is nothing but where to look the criteria, and criteria is what to look, criteria range is where to look. Okay, so where to look is the product list. I already defined that one as a product list. Okay, instead of drag select the full list, I already defined the name as product list. Okay, so instead of drag, you can simply type in the name here, product list. This is what I define the name for this whole range of product column. Similarly, for the criteria what to look, I am looking for the product list. Okay, what to look, the individual value E2. Okay, this is one criteria. Similarly, criteria 2 range and criteria where to look for the criteria 2, all the category list, category list. Okay, what to look, the value new, which is in the F2 column. Okay, enter. So it is 4 records. You check this one, Alice Mutton new, Alice Mutton new, count is 1 2 3 and 4 records, so it comes properly. Similarly, for the old, it is 9 records, 4 5 6 7 8 9 records. Okay, but you see, for the individual CountIFS, the criteria is keep changing. Okay, E2 F2, next is E3 F3. So we can make this, if you keep on going, is E4 E5 E6 and so on. So the individual criteria, instead of putting an individual criteria and fire the CountIFS for individually, what I can do, I can write a array CountIFS and fire for the whole set of output. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do, because the criteria itself is the array and category criteria is also a array. So I'm going to send the criteria itself is a array, then I get the output for all the cells. So how to do that? So this is an individual CountIFS. I just delete this one and I'm going to fire array CountIFS. How to write it? First, since you are sending the criteria itself is a array, what happens, the output is also going to be a array. The output is going to come in the multiple cells, so you select all the cells first. Okay, all these 50 cells. Now you write down the first cell is active, there you write down your array formula equal to CountIFS. Okay, where do you look for the first criteria? In the product list. Okay, which is here. Okay, what to look for in the criteria list for products? Okay, last time it is only E2, then E3 and so on. Now I am giving as a full range. Similarly, where to look for the second criteria category list, comma. What to look for is the all the categories criteria of all the array of category list. Okay, so this category list, the full list of categories. This is the list of category used only for the criteria. Okay, so this is the criteria list for category. Sorry. Okay, so now you close the bracket. So what it is doing, this criteria is also a set of array. It takes the first element from this criteria list and the first element, then fire the CountIFS, then again it takes the second elements, then fire the CountIFS. So it is firing the array of CountIFS. So the list is going to be, the output is going to be the array of numbers. Okay, so how do you tell the Excel you are writing a array formula? It is not a simple formula. That is by pressing Control Shift function, Control Shift Enter. Okay, not simply enter. Simply enter is for only for simple formulas. This one you must press Control as well as the Shift and Enter. Now you see it fires for individual. Even though you have written only one formula, it fires for individual element of criteria arrays. Here it's two criterias. It gets the CountIFS. For how we did it for individual CountIFS, it gets the same value for everything by one stroke and one array formula. Okay, when you enter Control Shift Enter, it automatically enclose the formula with the braces, telling that it is the array formula. Okay, similarly we can do it for, okay, you want, we can check the sum. So sum is nothing but 277, which is nothing but the total number of transactions here. Obviously 277 must be there, because individual transaction added together you will get a full list of transactions, which is the count of transaction is 277. Okay, similarly for the SumIF for total SumIF function to sum it up the sales. Okay, for Alice Mutton and new. Okay, we will do it for one set as a simple SumIFS function for the total sales, then we will do it for the whole array. Okay, and make this one as a array formula. First I will do it simple SumIF function. Okay, in this cell I want those sales satisfying these two criteria. One, the product supposed to be Alice Mutton and the category is new. Okay, how to do that? Equal to SumIFS. Okay, the what range you want to sum it up? I want to sum it up the sales. So sales, I already sales list defined for this range, sales list, comma, the criteria 1 is divided into criteria range and criteria 1. Okay, this criteria range 1 is nothing but the left hand side of the criteria, and the criteria is right hand side of the criteria. In other words, criteria range is nothing but where do you want to look it, and criteria is what do you want to look it. Okay, criteria range 1 is nothing but the I want to look it in the product list, which is nothing but I already defined the name product list. Okay, it's supposed to be here. Product list, it's supposed to be product list. Where to look it? I want to look it in the product list. What do you want to look at? I want to look at the individual value E2, which is Alice Mutton in this case. Similarly, now the second criteria range, where do you want to look at? In the category list, which I already defined the name as category list. Okay, and what do you want to look at? The name, the category name new, it's there, the F2, and close the bracket. So it is going to compare E2 in the product list and the F2 in the category list, and if that satisfies, both the conditions satisfies, then it is going to sum only those records which is satisfying both the conditions. Okay, enter 9281. Okay, similarly you can go for next cell. It is going to use the E3 and F3, these two values, and fire the SumIFS function. Similarly you can do it for the whole set, but instead of you use it for every single cell, you can use the array function. Okay, because the criteria itself is a set array of values. Okay, so I am going to use it the array function. When I am going to use the array function, the result set is going to be a set of array. So for that I am going to select the full set of cells where the array function is going to return the values. Okay, so I selected the full set. Now in the first active cell I am going to write the array function. SumIFS, what do I want to sum it up? The sales range, which is nothing but a sales list. Comma. Now the criteria, first criteria itself, two arguments, one criteria range. Where I want to look for the criteria? Where do you want to look for? Here, the product list. And for the first criteria, what do you want to look for? Is the comma. What do you want to look for? The criteria list for the product. Criteria list for the product. Similarly, second criteria, where do you want to look for? In the category list. Okay, what do you want to look for? List, criteria list for category. And close the bracket. Okay, now I will explain to you what is going to happen. This is the array, the criteria list for the product, criteria list for the category. Both of them are array. Product list and category list, it's already explained, is a column of values here. So it is going to take the first element of this array, criteria 1's element and criteria 2's element, which is Alice, Mutton and new, and put it here and fire the SumIFS function. Then it is going to take the second elements and again fire the SumIFS function. So it is array of SumIFS. So obviously it is going to return an array of values. Okay, then Okay, this the way it is working. It is for every individual element it is going to bring up the sum. Okay, it will check it will take the first element of this and first element of this, which is Alice, Mutton and New, put it here and do the check. Alice, Mutton appears in product and the category appears in category list. If both the conditions true, it will start summing up. Finally it will come up with one value, that is first sum value, that will be here. Then it will take the second elements of this two array, then do the same and come up here. Okay, so we have written a SumIFS function. Now what we are going to do, we want to enter and tell the Excel we are writing as array formula. For that we need to press Control Shift Enter. Okay, it is not simple enter, it is a Control Shift Enter, and this will bring up the whole set, the values. Every single cell is like a simple SumIFS. Instead of simple SumIFS, the whole set is calculated with the multiple SumIFS and bring the values. Okay, and you can see here the formula is enclosed with braces. That means it is a array formula, and you can see the sum. Let's see what is the sum. Sum of all the sales for each category and the product, it brings 428 101. Let's see what is the C column sum. See the status bar, the statistics 428 101, the same thing. So we also got the array SumIF formula and got the result for all the total sales for each category, each product and the category. Okay, this condition satisfied for every single row. Okay, so this is the way you can write array CountIFS and the array SumIFS. Array CountIFS does the work for counting the transactions for multiple conditions. Array SumIF doing the sum for multiple transactions when all the ifs are true. Okay, hope this video is helpful to you, and if you find my videos are helpful, please subscribe to my channel. You can also have lot of Excel examples, and God bless you.